Okay, hi. I am in a hotel in Las Vegas, and I wanted to show you guys how I've been brewing coffee like in hotel rooms. I don't know how applicable this is to most people, but for those of you who do some amount of travel, wanted to talk a bit about coffee setups. So if you guys can see here, this is kind of what I've been bringing around. I road trip to Vegas, so I might as well actually take advantage of the fact that I'm in a hotel room that has electricity. What I did want to talk about is this type of stuff. So I've been using this hilarious thing, which is a collapsible kettle. You get a kettle that looks like this. There's a little pouch and all of that, and it unfolds. So do this. And the temperature on this, I believe, is about 205 Fahrenheit. Like, I think that is what this maxes out at. But yeah, you get a little thing, you get a little handle. Like, it is hilarious. I used to actually use a different kettle, which is like the packed travel kit kettle, so you could actually do like a pour over with. But honestly, I have not cared about making pour over on the go. Like, I want something that is convenient in the morning before I have to travel and go out. I actually much prefer this kettle nowadays because I am now brewing with something like an Aeropress. So this is the Aeropress Clear with the flow control valve thing. Yeah, you do this, and all of this fits very compactly. If you were trying to travel really, really lightly, you could just get one of those Easy Presso or Time Hour grinders that actually fits directly in a Aeropress. But I was like, I have a car, so might as well do something a little more overkill, which is bring a 64 millimeter flatbed grinder. I have seen some of you guys do even crazier things, which is like bring, I've seen people bring like P100s and monoliths and all that jazz to your hotel room. And then for water, at least here in Vegas, and I was in LA earlier, the water, like tap water, is really hard. It sucks. So I just end up, bringing your own water, buy your own water from the supermarket or something. Just use like this type of water. Or if you're actually insane, you can make water concentrates. And I've seen people do that too and bring distilled jugs. But anyway, this is how this works. So we'll put our water in using that fresh Aquafina. The max on this kettle, by the way, is about 555. I actually do a little bit lower because when you move this guy around, this kettle can actually have some sort of flex, and if you are boiling water, you do not want to hurt yourself, especially when you are moving this kettle around. But you take the handle off this kettle like this, reinstall the handle like this, clips up like that, and you have a pouring handle. Definitely do that before you add the water in. So let's actually plug this guy in and then heat up some water. During this time, while this is heating, this is basically full, you can prepare everything else. So we'll turn this guy on. I like to use these scales here. Like, this is a version of a Weightman. The nice thing about immersion brewing, especially with something like this Aeropress Clear, which is, in my opinion, holding a little bit more heat than normal Aeropress and doing this more like, this style of brew, is we can actually get away with brewing some of these, really, really lightly roasted coffees, like this, say, Caramo here, which is a beautiful washed Ethiopian coffee. I also, for fun, bring a cupping spoon so I can actually go in and do some agitation. Let's actually weigh out our coffee while we wait. I've been brewing about 15 grams. And the nice thing is, because I'm brewing with the flow control cap here and doing this immersion brew and doing this, I'm gonna do like a long, steep, high extraction, I can actually get away with using slightly lower temperatures. And also, I don't have to be brewing coffee that's this difficult to brew. I just like this coffee, so I brought it along for fun. I could brew a lot of other coffees. Like, you have range with this setup. Get that grinding. Yeah, you don't need to do this. This is absolutely overkill to bring a flatbed grinder, like an electric flatbed grinder on these strips. You could totally use a hand grinder. You'll also be able to kind of see clearly that things are boiling. You can also feel it, you can hear it, of course. Again, because this is a kettle that has a collapsible component of it, you need to kind of be a little bit careful of how you lift this up, because you don't want to burn yourself. So this is basically near boiling. I'm actually just going to unplug this temporarily, because what I'm going to do is I am going to preheat. Well, I'm gonna rinse out this filter and also do a brief Aeropress preheat. So this is how the spout works. which is pretty decent. Like, you can actually pour quite fast through here, so you can get some amount of agitation. You actually could use this for some pour over. Like, that is decently laminar. Like, that's pretty good. And yeah, so it is a very nice kettle. And if you did want like super fast flow rate, what you could do is you could just take the lid off and it seems to let you actually pour a little bit faster like that. I will say that this part does get quite hot. The base also gets quite hot as well. So we pre-wetted it already, dumped the water out. There is like a sort of lockout on the kettle where if it's too hot, it won't let you reheat. So, and I also don't feel the most comfortable having this plugged in and also pouring water out of it. But yeah, so just keep that in mind when you're doing this. So once this guy fully heats up, which you will see a ton of steam, it will, the light should just turn off. But this is definitely thermally stable enough, or like, you know, we can definitely get hot enough for majority of coffees. So right there, the switch turns off. So what I'll do is I like to unplug this because I'm paranoid. Got my Aeropress all prepped here. Then I'm just gonna pour this in. And the flow rate is pretty fast. So I'm actually gonna pour up to 270. That's exactly 270. Take it off. And you know, we're now gonna do basic long steep Aeropress stuff, which is fun. So I like to just go in here, do a little bit of agitation, just trying to pay attention to my time. Cool. And then I'm just gonna put this on this table here. And then what I can do is I can just either cover it, let this steep for a very long period of time, or you know, whatever you want to do with this type of brewing method. What I like about this setup is the fact that this water actually gets pretty hot, and also the fact that this pouring spout is pretty nice. I can actually pour slow enough if I did want to do actual pour over, but I've been much more into immersion brews, especially when I'm on the go, because it's just easy and I don't have to actually think. This is like the first, you know, I'm tired right now, I haven't had any coffee, and this is easy. Like, yeah, I just, you know, grind the coffee, dump that boiling water in, and then I just let this long steep. This works for like majority of coffees that I'm drinking. And if you're using decent enough water, like, you know, most water I feel like you can find out of these water bottles is like, you know, good enough. They're definitely not going to be like optimized or anything to whatever you're brewing, but like if you're on the go and you're in a hotel, it's most likely better than like anything you'll find in any of these things or downstairs in your hotel lobby. So yeah, this is fun. And then I've actually been enjoying the Aeropress Clear. It's fun. I do think it is slightly more temperature stable than before. I actually used to bring an Oria and the pack travel kit and like the Lego Mini, and that worked fantastic. But you know, we might as well bring a flat because we can do that, and I'm not flying. Like if I'm flying, I might do the hand grinder set. If I'm driving, why not bring an electric grinder? I could just walk away, come back, press down at around 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what coffee I'm brewing, and I have a great time. I also could have used something like the Next Level Pulsar, where if you have something that has like a distribution screen for water, something like the Pulsar would work really well. Like you don't need precise gooseneck kettles to brew this type of steeping immersion brew, and I think that's what's nice about it is like, I don't want to think if I'm traveling. So we got this, and then what I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna do a very, very slow push. So this is 15 to 270, higher extraction, but because we do the steep, generally works out nicely. And then there we go. And then the nice thing about this guy, because this is the flow control valve cap, is I don't really get any leakages, and I can, you're not going to see this, but what I can do is I can just pop this out. It looks like that. and I can just, you know, shoot this Aeropress puck into the trash can, and then yeah, rinse it out or whatever. But you know, relatively of a clean setup, I guess. You just rinse it out. But the point is to be able to have hilariously good coffee, and most of that is due to, you know, pretty okay water, but more, you know, good kettle, and then like a good brewing apparatus. I like immersion for this type of stuff. Obviously, you don't need to bring this type of grinder. In fact, like I think most hand grinders probably going to outperform this guy anyway, this specific grinder, for something like Aeropress. So yeah, I have my lovely Say washed Ethiopian brew, and I have that in a hotel room, and I think that is hilarious. Yeah, this is really hot. I'm gonna let this cool down and enjoy it. You know, if I was gonna bring a hand grinder, but I was like, you know what? I have the car. Might as well bring something cool. And yeah, this is why I continue to like this timer grinder, because it's tiny. I can bring it around places. We get lovely coffee. So yeah, that's all I wanted to show off. I'm gonna let this guy cool and then enjoy it. But yeah, hotel room coffee. Yeah, this is the stuff I use. People ask me, so here you go. Thank you. All right, see you guys later.